Do not do this when a woman pulls back. So what if I told you that when a woman pulls away, it's not random? In fact, there's a hidden test playing out almost every single time. A test that if you fail will kill her attraction instantly, but if you pass, it can actually make her chase you and become attached to you even more than before. In fact, in the next few minutes, I'm gonna show you why it's almost guaranteed that early in a relationship, a woman is gonna put the brakes on and she's gonna slow things down. Why women are programmed to unconsciously run this test specifically on men that they're attracted to. And I'm gonna go over 5 of the critical mistakes that turn this test into relation suicide. And then I'm gonna give you a counterintuitive approach that not only stops her from pulling away, but actually makes her chase you. And most importantly, how to flip the script so that you're the one with the power. By the end of this video, not only will you understand why women pull away, but more importantly, you'll know exactly what to do when it happens, because it will happen. Hi, I'm Bobby Rio, and even though I've been coaching dating for the past 16 years, the pullback test that I just mentioned, that moment when a girl pulls back and takes away that one thing you want most, I'm man enough to admit this. I'll make a confession right here on camera. Before I figured this out, I failed this test more times than I can count. And I failed it in some of the most humiliating ways possible, in ways that still honestly make me cringe thinking about how needy and desperate I came across to women who did this to me. And chances are, maybe you've done it more than once, where everything's going great with this girl. The kind of great where you're already thinking about future plans and you're like telling your friends that she's the one, she's wifey material, and it seems pretty mutual. You're getting texts from her in the middle of the day, she's like ditching plans with her friends to hang out with you, she's touchy and feely and playful, and unless you're completely freaking delusional, there's actually chemistry, there's actually a connection that you're both feeling. Then, suddenly, almost out of nowhere, something shifts. Her quick, long replies become short, one-word answers. Those can't wait to see you messages that you were getting are like, now, sorry, I'm really busy this week. And just that warmth, right? That flirtiness in her voice. You can feel it fading. It's just not there. There's just something different. You can feel it in your gut. And if you've been in this situation before, you almost always know what's about to happen before it actually happens. We have this sixth sense. And even if you don't want to admit it, you sense that she's slipping away and you feel absolutely fucking powerless to stop it. This is where most guys lose her for good, because what you do in this moment really determines everything. See, what I've discovered after years of not just coaching, but like I said, making every mistake in the book, is that when a woman pulls away from you, she's not necessarily losing interest. She's unconsciously running what I call the pull away test. And once I understood this, everything changed. Not just for me, but for the thousands of guys that I've coached since. So let me explain what I mean. I was working with this guy, James, early 40s, cool guy, type of guy that I would grab beer with. You talk to him and he comes across really confident. And he's dating this girl, Tracy. She's in her early 30s. And after 2 months of dating, they're kind of both talking like they're imagining a future together. Then came, as James refers to it, as the night. Tracy asked James to come up with her to meet her friends for the first time, which was kind of a big deal, right? And James is a little nervous because her and her friends are like 13 years younger than him. So he gets there early and he wants to just make sure that everything's perfect. And 15 minutes pass when she was supposed to show up. And he sends a casual, hey, grabbed our table text. She doesn't respond. 30 minutes go by. Her friends aren't showing up either. And he's sitting there at this table set for 5, wondering if he's at like the right place, wondering what the frig is going on here. And in the pit of his stomach, something is starting to grow, right? So he calls her and it goes straight to voicemail. And that's when the spiral starts. Maybe she was in an accident. Maybe I said something wrong last time that we talked. And then he's always getting nervous, right? Do I leave? Will I look weird and desperate sitting here like sipping my drink if her friends show up without her? And he's alternating between checking his phone, pretending to be reading emails. Like, we've all been in that state at some point. As he's telling me this, I'm flashing back in my mind. So an hour in, literally an hour of sitting there waiting. Now, quite frankly, I would told him he should have left after 20 minutes of not hearing from her, 15 minutes of not hearing her. But after an hour, he gets a single text, sorry, can't make it. Things are a bit crazy right now, just need some space. And in that moment, his world stops. And what did James do next? He did exactly what 99% of guys do in this situation. he made 5 critical mistakes that turned a simple test into complete destruction of the relationship. But before I show you these mistakes, you need to understand something kind of crucial. So there are 2 games happening simultaneously in every relationship. You've got the visible game. That's everything that you can see. And then you've got the invisible game. And the invisible game is what's really going on. And most men are playing the visible game. They're only concentrating on the visible game. They're worried about sending the right text, planning the perfect dates, saying the right things. But women are almost always playing the invisible game. Women are always looking below the surface. My friend John Sin calls women meaning makers because there's what's going on and then there's the meaning that women are giving it, right? And that meaning is the invisible game. And this invisible game comes down to one concept. It really comes down to this one concept, and I'm going to write it down. How certain she is she has you. So how certain is she that she has you? So think about it. When she's absolutely certain that she has you, when there's zero doubt in her mind that you'll always be there, always pursuing her, always trying to win her over, that's exactly when her attraction starts to fade. And here's what's interesting about this pullback test. It's not something she's consciously planning to do. She's not sitting there thinking, all right, I'm gonna test him now. The unconscious pullback, it's pure instinct. Something in her mind just clicks. And it's sort of this feeling like, oh my God, I've got this guy. I've got him all figured out. I know exactly what he's gonna do next. I know exactly what he wants. There's no mystery here. And like a reflex, almost like your hand pulling away from a hot stove, she starts to pull back. She may not even realize why she's doing it. She might tell herself that she really is busy or she really does need time to think. But deep down, it's her unconscious mind running this ancient programming. Certainty equals loss of interest. Listen, I've been coaching guys, like I said, for 16 years, and you got to understand something. As unique and personal as this feels when you're going through it, and if you're going through it right now, trust me, like I said, I've been there. I've seen thousands of guys experience this exact situation. It's not random. It's not just bad luck. It's 100% a pattern, and it's predictable. And at this point, I can tell a guy when it's going to happen before it actually happens, just from the way I see him interacting with her. And this pattern explains why the perfect boyfriend very often gets dumped, why the nice guy gets friend zoned, why the sure thing falls apart. Because in trying to make her feel secure in your interest, you're actually killing the very uncertainty that creates desire. So keep in mind what I'm talking about here is very much playing out early on in a relationship, but it does translate to later on. And you want to remember that certainty equals the death of desire. So there's a lot of reasons for this, and I'll explain them as we go through it. But if you think about the word desire, the definition is a strong feeling of wanting to have something or wishing for something to happen. Desire is wanting, it's craving. Well, when desire gets fulfilled too quickly, when you eliminate all doubt, you eliminate all attraction because there's nothing left to crave. So I've been reading a book called Atomic Habits, and he mentioned something interesting in the book. He says the sweet spot of desire occurs at a 50-50 split between success and failure. Half of the time you get what you want, half of the time you don't. You need just enough winning to experience satisfaction and just enough wanting to experience desire. And I think this applies 100% to dating. So let's start by identifying the most common mistakes that you got to avoid when a woman is pulling back. So mistake number 1 is the desperation spiral. And we've all been there. This is where a guy starts playing what I call defense dating. Defense dating is trying to fix what isn't broken. So let me show you exactly how this plays out. The moment you sense her pulling back, your mind goes into overdrive. Maybe she doesn't know how much I care about her. Maybe I need to show her what she means to be. Maybe if I just explain how I feel. So what do? You start playing the visible game. Planning elaborate dates, sending longer, more emotional messages, trying to lock down future plans, buying unexpected gifts, making grand gestures, right? The visible game is what you do. The invisible game is what she feels. But here's the problem, and I see this happen constantly with the clients I work with. Every single one of these actions, they're screaming one message in the invisible game. I'm terrified of losing you. And that's the message, right? Women are meaning makers. And when you're doing these things, that invisible game is saying, I'm terrified of losing you. And here's why it sends such a desperate signal. Because when a woman's pulling away, putting less effort in, and you become more interested, more eager to please her, what does that say about your value, about your options? You're telling her, like, you can treat me like a backup plan and cancel on me and send me one-word replies, and I'll just reward your bad behavior even more with more interest. I'm that desperate to win you over. I'm not gonna walk away, right? I have no other options. That's the invisible thing. That's the message that she's sending. When she's giving you less and less effort and you're putting more and more effort in. So let me give you a perfect example of how this backfires. I had a client, Mike, and he had been dating this girl for about 3 months, and things were great until she mentioned, again, needing space to focus on a big work project. Now, in the visible game, Mike thought, I'll show her how supportive I am. So he sent her encouraging good morning texts, and he had lunch delivered to her office, and he kept checking in to see how she was doing, and he made plans for when her project was done, they were gonna go out and celebrate. And if you're listening to this, you might go, that sounds thoughtful. But in the invisible game, his actions were confirming her unconscious feeling that she had him completely figured out, that there was no mystery left. Each supportive gesture actually pushed her further away. This is why the desperation spiral is so dangerous, because the more you feel her pulling away, the harder you try to pull her back. And the harder you try to pull her back, the more you confirm her instinct to pull away. It's why we refer to this as being in emotional quicksand. You might have heard me say this, right? This point where you're in emotional quicksand. The more you struggle, the deeper you sink. But here's the good news. In a minute, I'm gonna show you exactly how to flip this dynamic and how to make her start chasing you instead. But first, let's talk about the second fatal mistake that you've likely made, that I've made, that we've all made. And I call that one the confession puke. So mistake number 2 is the confession puke, and this is where things go from bad to worse. See, when she starts pulling away, there's this voice in your head that says, she just doesn't understand how special she is to me. If she knew how I really felt, I need to show her I'm serious about her. Her, I need space. You dump more closeness on her. You give her less, like, breathing room. It's like someone saying they're full at dinner and your response is to dump another plate of food on them. So let me show you how this plays out. You're sitting there 1 a.m. staring at your phone and you convince yourself, this is it. This is the moment to bare my soul. So you craft this epic message, you know, the one, how you've never felt this way before, how you can see a future together, how you're ready to commit fully to her, maybe even you drop the L word. And here's the cruel irony. She pulls back. She pulls back equals she needs uncertainty, and your response is giving her total certainty. It's like her unconscious mind saying, I need some mystery here, and your response is to hand her your entire emotional roadmap. Now I can laugh about it, but I'm guilty. I've sent the big bouquet of roses with the sappy note to her work. And guess what happened? I got the, that was so sweet text, and when I tried to parlay it into a meetup, she was busy that night. Why? Because at the exact moment when she needed to feel some uncertainty about me, I basically threw a certainty grenade into her lap. But here's what most guys don't realize. These mistakes aren't really about the specific actions you take. They're about something much deeper. The invisible currency, okay? So the invisible currency is emotional investment. When a woman pulls away, she's not testing your ability to chase. She's testing your emotional stability, your ability to stay centered when the ground shifts beneath you. This is why confessing your feeling backfires. Giving gifts make things worse. It's why demanding answers pushes her away. You're showing her all the cards in the invisible game. Now in a minute, I'm gonna show you again how to recognize when this test is happening, how to handle it in a way that builds attraction and turns the tables so she starts chasing you. But let's talk about the next mistake. So mistake number 3 I call butthurt crumb chasing. And this one is almost as painful to talk about because, again, I've been guilty of this myself. It starts with the surge of pride. Oh yeah, she wants space, I'll show her space. 2 can play at this game. Let's see how she likes being ignored. So you go cold. You don't text, you don't call, you're giving her a taste of her own medicine. And for about 48 hours, you feel pretty good about yourself. You're like, man, I'm freaking doing this. Until she posts a story on Instagram or sends you that casual hey text or likes one of your photos. And just like that, all the tough guy act crumbles and you're jumping on your phone like it's on fire. Hey stranger, was just thinking about you. Hey, miss hanging out with you. Wanna grab coffee this week? Pride duration equaled 48 hours. Desperation, 48 seconds. I remember this client, Tom, he was playing hardball, hadn't responded to her in 5 days, and he's telling me how he's teaching her a lesson. Then she sends him, "This reminded me of you," like text with a little meme. Not even a personal message, right? A meme. And what does Tom do? He writes back a paragraph about how he's been meaning to reach out. He suggests 3 different days to meet, and he even offers to drive to her side of town, all because of a recycled meme that she probably sent 5 other guys. Here's what's really happening in the invisible game. When you flip from ice cold to burning hot, the second she shows any interest, you're telling her, "I was never really busy. I was never really moving on. I was just sitting there waiting for any breadcrumb from you that I could grasp." And in that moment, any power that you thought you had is gone, because you just showed her that all she needs to do is throw you the smallest breadcrumb of attention and you'll come running back, even hungrier than before. This is why playing these hot and cold games never work, because you're not actually moving forward. You're not really in your power. You're just pretending. And the second she tests that pretense, it falls apart. And that brings us to mistake number 4. So mistake number 4 is the empty ultimatum. This is, again, the tough love message that isn't tough at all. You know, the one, "Look, I need to know where this is going. I can't keep doing this back and forth. If you don't want this, you just tell me, because I'm not gonna sit around and wait." But here's the thing, and this is crucial. An ultimatum only works if you're actually willing to walk away. And let's be honest, you're still checking your phone every 20 minutes. You're still hoping that she'll text. You're still waiting around. It's like threatening to leave a restaurant but staying seated at the table. All you've done is shown her that you're desperate enough to try emotional manipulation, but you're not actually strong enough to follow through. And guess what? She can sense that weakness a mile away, because in the invisible game, an empty ultimatum is worse than no ultimatum at all. And that leads us to our final mistake. So mistake number 5 is the permission seeker and the apologizer. This is where you completely surrender your masculine core. You start walking on eggshells. Is it okay if I call you later? Maybe we can go grab coffee if you want. No pressure at all. And then comes the apology. You start apologizing for things you didn't even do. "Sorry if I came on too strong. Sorry if I misread things. Sorry for bothering you." You're so convinced that you must have done something wrong that you're apologizing for shit that you don't even know why. And here's what's really happening, again, in the invisible game. Every time you seek permission, every time you apologize for nothing, you're telling her, "I don't trust myself around you anymore. I need your approval for every move I make. I'm afraid of making any decision." And if you don't trust yourself, how can you expect her to trust you? This is the final nail in the attraction coffin. Now, in a minute, I'm gonna show you exactly how to flip this entire dynamic, how to move from seeking permission to commanding attention, from apologizing to attracting, from playing defense to playing to win. But first, you know what's fascinating about this pullback test? It's actually trying to tell you something really, really important. When a woman's pulling back, it's the wake-up call. Think of this like your body is running a fever, and the fever isn't the problem. It's your body's way of telling you something's wrong. When a woman pulls back, she's not trying to play games with you. Her unconscious mind is sending you a signal. Hey, something's off here. The real questions that you should be asking yourself is, have I become too predictable without realizing it? When's the last time I created a moment of real tension? Am I still being playful, or am I just kind of going into this boring guy mode? Have I stopped being seductive? Am I just existing in her world, or am I inviting her into my world? Most guys miss these questions completely, and instead of seeing this moment, right, as a wake-up call, as, valuable feedback, they panic and they try to fix the symptoms rather than the cause. It's like life is holding up a mirror and it's asking, is this really the kind of man you want to be? And you got to be honest with yourself when you see that mirror, because here's the truth. If you're being needy, she feels it before you do. If you're being boring, she feels it before you do. If you've lost that masculine edge, she feels it before you do. This pullback moment, it's not a test that you need to pass. It's a wake-up call you need to hear. And once you understand this, everything changes. See, most guys get this completely wrong. They see her pulling away as a problem to fix, when it's actually an opportunity to create attraction. Think about this. Your world equals her movie. When she first met you, you were like a movie she couldn't wait to watch. Every scene was unpredictable. Every moment held possibility. She didn't know what was going to happen. She was on the edge of her seat. She was wondering, what's going to happen next. But somewhere along the way, you got predictable and boring. She figured out the ending of the movie too soon. And when she already knows the ending, she stops watching. But have you ever been watching a movie, thinking that you had that movie completely figured out, and you're starting to zone out and you're starting to lose attention? You know, you're kind of checking your phone, and then suddenly, boom, something completely unexpected happens. The plot twist that you never saw coming. And just like that, you're pulled right back in, sitting up straight, phone, you know, you're just staring, fully engaged. Well, when she expects you to zig, you need to zag. This is why everything that you've been doing to get her attention back isn't working. When she pulls back, she expects you to chase. When she's cold, she expects you to get needy. When she's distant, she expects you to panic. And every time you do exactly what she expects, you're just confirming why she started pulling away in the first place. But when you break that pattern, when you do the unexpected, when you zig instead of zag, that's when she starts thinking, wait, I thought I had him figured out. Something's different. Who is this guy? And again, this isn't her consciously thinking these things. It's a feeling she has. And that's when the movie gets interesting again. That's when she puts her phone down and starts paying attention to your story once more. So there are 3 shifts you want to immediately make once you see her pulling back, okay? This is what you got to do. Shift 1, from chase to challenge. Shift 2, from pressure to mystery. And shift 3, from reaction to action. And once you make these 3 shifts, something fascinating happens. The same woman who was pulling away starts wondering why you're so different, why she can't figure you out anymore, why she's suddenly thinking about you more. Now, I have a video that I put a link to in the description, because this concept that I just said, why she's thinking about you more, okay? The challenge, the mystery, and the action, this whole idea is to get her thinking about you more. That's the key, because to turn it around, it must feel like her idea. Which means everything you do at this point, we talk about the visible and the invisible, everything must be under the radar. It must be invisible so that she finds herself thinking about you nonstop. So in the video below, I walk you through a technique that I call the scrambler. And it's all about eliciting the chase in her instead of the other way around, and doing it in the invisible way. Because most guys chase women, but women want to be the one chasing a man. It's in their instinct. It's in their DNA. They don't want to be chased. And guys think that by chasing, it's going to get them. But by chasing, you're actually pushing her further away. They want to chase you. They want the man they have to chase. How do you get a woman chasing you? That's what I talk about in the video below. If you've already made a mistake, if you think you're thinking, well, I've already done all these 5 mistakes. Well, here's the thing. It's not too late to fix things if you take the right steps from here on out. So just watch the video and you'll get a much clearer understanding of the invisible things that you should be doing right now to not only stop her from pulling away, and not only stop women in the future from pulling away, because like I said, this is a wake-up call. It means something you're doing is not working, and you want to recognize it so you don't make the mistake next time. But also, to get this woman back, you have to do certain things. And if you click the link below and you watch the video, I'm going to explain what those things are. Now, as always, if you found this video helpful, hit the like button. Let me know in the comments section what was your biggest sort of epiphany listening to this. And if you've made the mistakes that I've made multiple times, let me know as well. I love commiserating over mistakes that I've made and hearing your stories as well. And more importantly, let me know what you'd like to see me cover in the next video. So you don't miss that video, make sure you subscribe.